Released in 2011, the iPhone 4S brought Siri and shipped with iOS 5. Not only this, but it marked the last iPhone Steve Jobs would ever announce. Hey, how's it going? I am Josh from 91 Tech, and today we're going to be looking at the iPhone 4S. Is it even remotely usable in 2018? When it comes to the iPhone 4S, design is probably the best thing about this phone. It is absolutely beautiful and shares the exact same look as the iPhone 4. It has a glass back as well as a front, and a stainless steel frame. If this sounds familiar, it's because it's exactly what the iPhone X has. Just goes to show how ahead of the game this phone really was. It has the old 30-pin Apple charger on the bottom and has the headphone jack on the top. It's not a good location for the jack, but hey, at least it has one. The design of the phone is probably my favorite of any phone ever. It's just so beautiful and feels so premium. This is definitely Apple design at its best, except for maybe that small display. The screen comes in at 3.5 inches and has a crisp resolution of 640 by 960 and pixel density of 326 pixels per inch. It has Apple's new for the time Retina display, and as a result this display looks good even today. Colors are accurate, and best of all, there are no visible pixels, something that wasn't terribly common at this time. Apple really knocked it out of the park for the screen, but the size is something that doesn't really hold up today in this world of increasingly large displays. I don't mind too much considering the age, but I do prefer the size of an iPhone 6 or even 10. Of course, the next year Apple increased the screen size with the iPhone 5, putting it at 4 inches instead of 3.5. What's nice about the small display is that it is very easy to use with one hand, which is what Steve Jobs wanted, so that's definitely a benefit. Battery life on the iPhone 4S isn't great, but has been okay for me, lasting most of the day. Obviously, it's going to vary phone to phone depending on how used it's been over the years, but don't expect much from it. The actual size of the battery is 1,432 milliamp hours, but because the phone isn't the most demanding, this typically pretty small size for a battery isn't actually too bad. Camera-wise, the iPhone 4S is surprisingly decent, with 8 megapixels and 1080p video recording. Photos on here actually look pretty good, and it's a big improvement over its predecessor, the iPhone 4. While the back camera is somewhat decent, the front-facing camera is absolutely awful with 0.3 megapixels. I don't know how to express how bad that is. It can also shoot 480p video. It's terrible. Don't take selfies with the 4S. They look awful. And yeah, not a whole lot to say there, but the back shooter is pretty good. This right now is being captured on the iPhone 4S, and I mean, it actually looks pretty good. I would even say if you needed an extra camera around, this would probably work. When it comes to performance, the iPhone 4S is awful for 2018, at least if you're on iOS 9, which I'll get to in a moment here. It contains the dual-core Apple A5 chipset and 512 megabytes of RAM, which isn't very much, although is pretty solid for a 2011 smartphone. But in real-world use in 2018, the 4S is as slow as molasses, and that's for one reason, and that reason is iOS 9. I personally do not believe in the concept of planned obsolescence, where Apple's intentionally slowing down iPhones with updates to push you to buy a new one. But if there's any proof of it in this world, it would be the iPhone 4S. It was absolutely obliterated with the iOS 9 update. Everything is ridiculously slow, even the most basic of tasks. It's a real pity because back on everything up to iOS 7, the 4S was pretty solid. It wasn't great on iOS 8, but it was certainly at least better than what we have now. It never should have received the update, but it did. And why? Well, that's anybody's guess, but there is one good thing about it. Because the iPhone 4S was supported up to late 2016, nearly all modern apps will still install on it. iOS 9 is usually the minimum required version for 2018 apps, and so the 4S can use the latest versions of YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, and so on and so forth. Sure, the apps are slow, but at least they actually work on it. So it's kind of a mixed bag here. I really want to go more into this, but I don't want this video to be very long, so I think I'll post another video tomorrow explaining exactly how iOS 9 destroyed the 4S and what Apple could have done to remedy the situation. If you're in the future, link will be in the description below. But for now, there is a more positive positive side to all of this. For whatever reason, Apple has started to sign iOS 6.1.3 again for the iPhone 4S. What does this mean? Well, you can actually go back and downgrade to iOS 6. This is strange and a very out of character move on Apple's part. They tend to like to take away choices, not give you more. But here we are, so if you're interested, I did do an entire video on how to downgrade, link below in the description. iOS 6 is way faster on the 4S, and so if you're curious and have an old 4S just lying around, I'd really recommend downgrading. And what's kind of interesting is when you do downgrade to iOS 6, it actually asks you if you want to upgrade to iOS 8 if you do an over-the-air update. But back on topic, the 4S is brutally slow in 2018, but at least it does support the majority of apps most people use today. So is the iPhone 4S still usable in 2018? Well, yes, actually it is. If you can deal with a ridiculous amount of lag, the 4S still fully functions as a smartphone. Would I recommend the experience? Never in a million years. I lived with the thing back in 2017 for a week, and it was excruciatingly painful. But if you're on an extreme budget, I suppose you could live on a 4S, but why would you? For not much more money, you can get an iPhone 5 or 5C. I see them on eBay used for around $50 all the time. So that's what I would recommend. Last time I did an iPhone 4S review before my living with the 4S video, I said if we could get 400 likes, I would live with the 4S for a week. And I'm going to do the same thing today, but I'm not going to say 400 likes because I think that was too easy. I'm going to go for a goal that I don't know if we'll actually hit, and that's 1,000 likes. If this video can hit 1,000 likes, I will live for a week with the iPhone 4S. And for reference, for all of you who aren't from around here, I have an iPhone 10. I live on an iPhone 10 and I absolutely love it. If you want to make me put that thing away and live with the 4S for a week, then so be it. Make sure you hit that like button. If we can hit 1,000, I will, I'll do it, and then I'll do a video describing how it was again. Overall, while it's impressive how long the 4S has lasted support-wise, it's not the most pleasant experience to deal with today. If you still have one and you want to still use one, I would downgrade to iOS 6. That's really the thing to do now that it's supported for whatever reason. I think that's the only real way to use it, or at least on iOS 8. And on that note, I think we're going to end this video. Thank you so much for watching. I really do appreciate it. If you found this video interesting, please hit that like button, as well as if you want me to live with the 4S for an entire week. If we hit 1,000, I will do it. I really don't want to, but I will. And make sure you subscribe to see that video if it ever comes out. Make sure you go follow me on Twitter and Instagram because that would be pretty cool of you. And with that all being said, I'm Josh from 91 Tech, and I will see you all next time.